Okay, so what exactly is anti-conservationalisationalism? Very long word, I know, but what does it mean? Okay, so it means energy conservation. It's about conserving energy, trying to use less, trying to do more with the same, or the same with less, in order to try to conserve energy and make the energy that we have available to us at the moment last longer. That's the idea. That's the general idea. And conservationalisationalism is the communication of that idea or ideal. It's an ideal because it's not realistic to expect everybody to conform to something like that, because lots of people use lots of energy and a lot of people use far more than they really need. So the idea is to try and persuade people to use less if they can, when they can, and be more efficient with our energy usage in order to make what we have last longer. I think it was the first George Bush, not George W. Bush, that said in his speech when going to war after 9/11 happened and the decision was made to go to war with Iraq and Afghanistan. It's about trying to preserve our way of life, and that is my goal as well. I don't really want our way of life to completely disappear overnight, and I don't think it will actually, but the thing is, it's going to be a slow apocalypse. It's not something that's going to happen all of a sudden, and really the apocalypse has sort of already begun. It kind of began about 20 years ago, really, and it's an ongoing process that'll take many more decades yet before it's finally over, and it'll keep going even after that. The apocalypse isn't something that's going to be over 28 days later with zombies on the street. That's the Hollywood version, which isn't the reality. The reality is that the non-renewable resources that we burn, coal, gas, and mineral oil, those resources are absolutely key to the functioning of our civilization. And it doesn't matter how many solar panels, how many wind turbines, how many nuclear power stations, because nuclear power also comes from a non-renewable resource which has to be mined, and there's only a finite available amount of uranium ore in the world, so it's still a finite resource, just the same as coal, gas, and mineral oil resources are finite, so it can't go on forever. Those countries like Norway that are blessed with considerable hydroelectric power resources because of their geography, so they're lucky because about 88% of their electricity is produced from hydro. So that's how Norway gets to have a $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund, because they sell most of their oil and gas to our country, the UK, because we're rather hogs. We are rather good at using up lots and lots of mineral oil and gas, and we don't have excessive amounts in the North Sea available to us, although we do have considerable resources left. But it's probably a good idea to keep conserving that and not overuse it too much. To conserve it for the future, that's probably a wise choice, if that's what the government's doing at the moment. So anyway, energy conservationalisationalism, it has its proponent. It has a something that can go against it, and that is the people that are energy anti-conservationalisationalists. And those are the people that say that we might as well just ignore all this conservation crap and use as much energy as we possibly can whilst we still can, and have fun whilst we still can. And it doesn't matter about the future, because we don't care about the future. We don't care about our children and our children's children. We just want to have a good time whilst we still can, and to hell with the future. And these are the sorts of people that want to see the world burn, and unfortunately that's quite a lot of people. So those are the energy anti-conservationalisationalists, And that's an even longer word, which rivals that other long word that we've got in the English language called that goes anti-disestablishmentarianism, and that's about 28 letters, I think. But anti-conservationalisationalism is about 30 letters. So it's 2 letters longer than the other long word. So those sorts of people, I think, are the people that need their mindset changed. They need to think more about the future. They need to think in terms of what's practical for the next generation, the generation after that, and the generation after that. And we need to try and make things easier for the future generations, not harder. And the way we're going about it at the moment is that there's this all-out crusade to build as many wind turbines and solar power plants as we possibly can. And I'm not convinced that that's actually such a bad thing, although it is costing a lot of oil, a lot of gas, and a lot of coal to produce all of this gear, all this hardware. But because of the overproduction of solar panels, it's still something that's worth going for. It's still something that's worth doing, definitely, because it'll help us in the short term. Just like electric vehicles, I don't see a long-term future in electric vehicles. I think it's all going to go to biofuels in the more distant future. But in the short term to medium term, I see electric vehicles, electric cars as being a stopgap solution. But I just don't see that, because of all of the significant resources, mind resources that are required to produce these vehicles, compared to regular ICE types of vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles. It's not a long-term solution. It's not going to go on forever, and it can't possibly be sustained. So biofuels I see as being the future. And the only way to do biofuels is to have enough land. And I'll talk about this in another podcast. At the moment, I'm trying to just introduce energy conservationalisationalism as a concept, as an idea, for people to have a think about and to decide what side are you on. Are you an energy conservationalisationalist? Because also the thing is, just like that word, anti-disestablishmentarianism, that word actually contradicts its own self within itself, whereas energy conservationalisationalism doesn't contradict itself in the word, but it does. There are still conflicts, because I am completely surrounded by technology at the moment where I'm making this recording, and all that technology costs money. It costs oil, it costs gas, it costs coal to manufacture. And the same with the devices, whatever you're using, be it a pocket calculator size smartphone that you're listening to on this, or it might be a desktop computer that you're using. All of that, it's not just the diesel fuel that it costs to deliver the item to your house. That's not the only cost of fuel. It's also everything that went into manufacturing that equipment. So we are hypocrites when we say that we are energy conservationalisationists, because we are using a considerable amount of non-renewable resources to communicate the ideal. And that's why it's an ideal, because it's not an actual practical, realistic option. We can't force people to use less energy. You can't say we shouldn't. I mean, the only way to do that really is to start living in a mud hut in a woodland somewhere, and just eat nuts, berries, mushrooms, and perhaps the odd captured rabbit from time to time. But if you want to talk to people and tell them about it and say how you're living and try to promote the idea, well, then you need a solar panel suddenly, a battery, and a smartphone, and then you're being a hypocrite suddenly, because you need all that equipment to communicate your message. So that's where the conflict lies. So if you're an anti-conservationalisationalist, then you're one of those people. You are a defeatist. You're saying that there's not going to be a future. We have no future. It's going to be an apocalypse. It's all going to end in war. The world is going to destroy itself, and that's going to be the end of it. And so we might as well have fun whilst we still can. Those are the defeatists that we need to defeat. That mindset is what will make that happen. If there are too many people that think that way, then that is what is going to happen. So we need to try to persuade people that no, there is a future. We can do this. I will be talking on this sub-channel, which is the Environmental Matters channel, about a number of different items and subjects which I think are solutions to problems that I have in mind that I want to communicate. But this video is just not a video, sorry, this podcast is just an introduction into what I'm trying to say and what I want to try and do. So there are going to be energy conservationalisationalists, and then there are going to be energy anti-conservationalisationalists. And that longer word is the one. If you're one of those, then you're my enemy, and I have to fight you. If you're on my side, if you're about conserving energy and trying to make what we have last longer, to try and preserve human civilization in its technological state for as long as we possibly can, then you're on my side and I'm with you, I'm backing you. So anyway, so that's that. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because now we're on to, that was 11 and a half minutes. So that's already too long. This should have been 10 minutes long. I've rambled on for far too long. So anyway, I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.